Hello and welcome back to the podcast, bros. As always, it's me, Aviz Rasumargi, and joining me today, as always,
Gaurav Kanal.
Yeah, and we're back with another banger of an episode. I am very excited for this one, Gaurav. What about you?
I'm very excited as well. I mean, this is a completely different topic, so I think we'll love discussing about it.
And you do look, energized, almost a new sense of energy. What's going on in your life, Gaurav?
Well, thanks to my 5 cup of coffee since morning. That's been helping me.
And everything else, how is the boxing practice going and anything?
Boxing is good, man.
Yeah.
It
feels like
please, please don't try to act smart or anything. So you don't want to get spicy.
Scared as hell. Be careful around him, you guys as well. All right. Okay, so let's get into it then today.
Well, how is your life going?
It's going stellar. It's going fine. Everything seems to be on track. Not boxing. I think I put on a little bit, chops. But yeah, who cares? Gotta work on that on my own. Yeah. But anyways, okay, so should we jump into the topic of today?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so today we are going to be discussing the roller coaster that is Threads, right? Is Threads a good app, a bad app? Like, what are the performances? Why Threads earned so many viewers followers in such a short time? And then why is it struggling now, right? And then we are going to talk a little bit about Mark Zuckerberg as a CEO and stuff like that. General discussions, of course. The normal format. So let's get into it then. So what is Threads, Dan?
Well, Threads is just an online social media platform where you can network with your different followers and talk about and post random stuff as well, like general anything similar to Twitter or X.
So direct competition to Twitter, right? It's a text-based app, of course, and social media, like we said, and it was created on the 6th of July. Right, and it took around 6-7 months to create the whole app.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was done very quickly. Yeah, as once the turmoil of X or Twitter started to happen, Mark Zuckerberg instantly jumped on the opportunity, right? And then on 6th of July was when Threads was released, and it works in tandem with Instagram. So you need to have an Instagram account to have Threads, right? And if you have followers or the people that you are following generally translate to Threads as well. So you do not have to go and start finding people and start following them. So it's basically connected with your Instagram followers.
So it's mutual, right? So it will just slide onto it. And the fun feature, it's a fun feature. So for example, if you follow me on Instagram and I do not use Threads, right? So that means what you can do is you can go to your Threads follow page and they will show you my name with my Instagram account. Okay. And you can just press follow on that, and whenever I join Threads, you will follow me.
That's cool. That's
cool.
It's
something, But yeah, it also, the way it's a little bit different to Twitter is that it lets you use 500 characters to make a statement.
Okay, right? I think Twitter has lesser than that, right?
Yeah, I think it's around 240, 280, something like that. We'll get into it. But that's that. And then you can send photos. Of course, that's the simple thing, right? But videos can go up to 5 minutes. And I think it's 2 minutes cap on Twitter.
No.
So it's something. It's a little bit different, right? And
so basically it's trying to compete directly with Twitter, also bringing back, giving more features or something like that. Not more features in terms of other features, but the same with videos and photos and everything.
Yeah. Just trying to outperform Twitter in some of the aspects, right? And then it's 2-step process to sign up to Threads. So if you already have an Instagram, all you need to do is join Threads, and then next step is you make your profile, and then bam, you're in Threads already, right? So it's a lot easier to set up. Initial setup is much easier than if you were setting up a Twitter account for the first time or an Instagram account or something like that, because you'll have to go through mails, this, that, whatever, all the hooplas, right? Hooplas. And then I think people will like this. No cost of verifications, unlike Twitter.
No cost of verification?
Yes, because in Twitter you have to pay $8 a month.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? So you can get verified for nothing, I mean.
So we are all common and equal in Threads.
Yeah. Apparently. So, okay. And then, yes, of course, the prerequisite is that you need to have Threads because they work in Instagram and Threads work in tandem. So you need that, right? So that's a little bit of a for me, but it is what it is. And then it recommends you new accounts that you might like, or like you might be interested in, similar to Instagram. Okay. So that's pretty much the big picture of what Threads is. Direct competition to Twitter, some things it does better, this, that, and all. So that's that. So do you want to get into the rise of Threads, Dan?
Oh, I think we'll love talking about this because it's very surprising, the rise.
It was able to overtake ChatGPT.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was surprising,
Yeah, insane, right? Within the first 24 hours, so this is the rise of Threads, right? So within the first 24 hours of Threads being launched as an app, there were 30 million users. That's an insane number, right? 30 million users, oh my days. And then within the first 48 hours, 70 million users.
So more than double.
Right?
More than double, yeah.
Yeah. And within the first 4 days of operation, which is the 10th of July, 100 million followers. Wow. Or users. And it stalled a little bit because it took 21 days to reach the 120 million mark. But the rise, the crazy
that's crazy, 120 million. Even like 30 million for one day, like within a day, that's crazy amount. I think
numbers. We should start making apps as well, bro.
It was first of all, it was Mark Zuckerberg making it, and then it was linking directly with Twitter.
Yeah. So competition. I think plus
that helped, because there was no it wasn't like completely different term that people were not using it or something like that.
And if there's a different variant of an app, people are likely to try it, right? I think that genuinely helped. And the rise was so quick that they had 10 million users within the first 7 hours. Right? So it's just, if you keep looking at these numbers, it's just insane. And if you look at that 120 million number, which is the 21-day mark that it hit, right? That's close to the population of Japan. Japan has 125 million people, right? And Twitter was able to garner 120 million users within the first 21 days. So, take it, Japan. Can you compete with that?
Because
yeah. So
Japan population was declined because of Oppenheimer.
Oh my God! You've got a point. So that's that then. But so that's the meteoric rise of Threads. And do you want to talk about some of the competition and promises? Like why Threads got such a meteoric rise? Like was it at the right place at the right time? What was it?
I think it was. To be honest, because this feud between Twitter and Elon happening, that is when Mark Zuckerberg apparently saw this opportunity, and then he called his engineers and everything. It was all done within 6 to 7 months.
Yeah.
So
which is also crazy.
Yeah, the whole point of Twitter was at the time when Elon Musk was trying to take over Twitter, his main motive was to provide a platform where people can talk freely. No judgment or anything like that. So I think that is what Elon Musk was trying to convey, that we'll trying to make that he wants to make a platform where you can talk about different conversations. But apparently he also for example, in Twitter you can talk about anything, right? The Thread's main point was he doesn't want to get too political. So that there's he just wanted to make a friendly platform where people can chat.
So if we go a little bit further back, right? Let's go back to 2008 when Facebook had already started killing every other MySpace and High Five and all these other platforms in the industry, right? In 2008, Mark Zuckerberg tried to purchase Twitter. So he outright bid to buy Twitter. And the claimed offer was that Mark Zuckerberg will give the Twitter owners $100 million in cash and then 400 million of Facebook stock. Right? So
400 million of Facebook stock. Okay.
Imagine if you took that back then.
It was such a good deal.
Yeah. But because Facebook's number constantly rising.
Yeah, probably it cost more than that to make Threads anyway.
Yeah.
Plus, Elon bought Twitter for
44 billion.
Yeah. So I think Mark Zuckerberg would have had great advantage with this as well. Yeah.
But so it took 400 million of stock and this, that, and all. And some of the viewers might be confused. We are using Facebook and Meta synonymously, right? So these are the same company. Facebook eventually became Meta. So
So that was that then. And how did Threads come to be? Because so if for some of the viewers that want to know like why Threads was in such a prime position to earn this many followers and all that, you can check out our Elon Musk video about Twitter and all that, right? Plugging another one of our videos, of course. But on 27th of October 2022, Elon Musk purchased Twitter, right? And when Elon Musk purchased Twitter, there was a lot of questions, concerns going forward, right? Because Elon, as we all know, is very pro, what do we call it? Like statements, freedom of speech, right?
Speech.
Elon is very freedom of speech. So that means that a lot of people were annoyed about that fact, because nowadays we've seen in the media that biases tend to lead people. Like people more follow with emotions than rationality, right? So that kind of icked out a lot of people. And even just recently, if for those people that know, what's her name? The famous, liberal from American politics, the female.
Forgot her name.
OKC or something like that. She also just announced that she's going to leave Twitter.
Oh, is that the Alexandria or something? Yeah, that girl.
Cortez or something like
yeah,
that.
Yeah, Alexandria Ortiz. Yeah. Okay.
So she also said that she's going to leave Twitter.
But also, like, she and Elon Musk have been having feud between them for like back and forth for like long time now.
Yeah. So that was that, right? And lots of prominent individuals and companies' account were left. So what I mean by that is that, and Elon Musk, when he bought the company, he fired 80% of the staffs. Right? Changed the CEO, all the way Twitter functioned, and he started looking at the algorithms, and he started figuring out that like the government agencies were taking data left, right, and center. So people were kind of like, oh my God, Twitter is a devil in disguise. So a lot of people started moving out, and a lot of people kind of did not like Elon Musk or did not like Twitter the way it was functioning. So Meta was primed, to be in that place.
I think that is. So those people who hated Elon Musk and Twitter and they were not having fun on that platform, maybe those are the target market for Threads.
Yeah.
I would say.
And the other thing that I think Zuckerberg miscalculated on this one, because once Elon purchased Twitter, 90+% of ad people or ad companies that were funding the ads for Twitter left. Right, so in Zuckerberg's head, it must be that like, okay, all these revenue will come to my company, right? So these were some of the things, and that's why I think Threads was in such a prime position to be to gain 130 million, 120 million users within the first 21st days of operation.
Also, like when it's like too good to be true kind of mark, then it's doubtful as well.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah, and as soon as this opportunity arose, Zuckerberg, it is reported that it's a rumor that Zuckerberg called Adam Mosseri. I think I'm butchering the name, but Adam Mosseri is the head of Instagram, right? And they communicated and they were like, okay, we need to make something that competes with Twitter. So within 7 months, and this number varies, okay? Because I looked at so many different reports and this number severely varies. It goes from 6 to 10 to 60. Apparently, somewhere between this number were the amount of engineers that were used to make Threads, which is so much less than what Twitter employs. So
I think it would be 60, man. 6 to 10 employees. I don't think engineers.
The number varies.
Yeah.
I looked at so many places and I could not find a simple concrete number, and I was like, just give all three of them. I don't want to state something that's false. So
Elon Musk. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg will come and be pinpointing
personally. But so that's what it is claimed, and even if it's 60, it's something that's very impressive. To make such a app which can have over 100, 200 million people and still function, and it was made in 6 months. Even if it's 60, 6 or 10, it's impressive.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like it was right place at the right time for Mark Zuckerberg as well, and Threads as a whole. So that really helped them. And what are some of the promises? How did Threads promote itself? that these followers were inclined to check? What do you think?
Well, first of all, Mark was like, clearly he stated that this is not Twitter.
Yep.
So probably like one of the fact was that all those who are bored with Twitter and all these things that has been happening with Twitter and like whoever the CEO came and everything, I think people were just tired of that, and then people genuinely needed wanted a platform where they can like talk freely about anything and anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, having said that, he also initiated that politics and news will not be prioritized in that platform. So maybe for some people, that is a big concern as well, because nowadays I see that everything is political now.
Yeah,
you talk about anything and there's like all this negative comments, and like there's always like.
I feel like that was a misstep on Thread's end, because controversies breed conversation grounds.
Yes. Also, that is like okay. Also, controversies makes now controversies are the thing that makes anything interesting. Also,
Yeah.
there's like pros and cons both the ways, right? So I think we're talking about this Threads. That's what I believe in. So he just wanted to prioritize public dialogue over private conversations. So I think that is why people thought, okay, well, let's give this a shot. So that's why you see a massive number of like 130 million within 5 days.
Yeah.
And also like as we said earlier, linking process and everything, like Instagram and that connecting and everything. So it's just maybe like people just thought like, the customers, let's say customers, and they just thought, okay, this is a good platform and let's give it a shot.
The other thing that also I think helped was that Zuckerberg promised that until they reach 1 billion total users or active or accounts, then till then he's not gonna add any advertisements in Threads, right? So that kind of indicated that maybe they were not like being funded by money and all this and all, and they had more chivalrous intention about making Threads. And the other thing that I think helped, and this really bugged Elon Musk as well, and he's still figuring this out in Twitter, bot accounts, right? Like how do you take care of bot accounts? And for Threads, because it is so entangled with Instagram, the amount of bot accounts that could be carried forward could be identified more easily. Right?
Also, I think that would be lesser in amount, the bots account. Yeah.
So the amount of people that would go to Threads, they had to have an own account. Of course, you can jump through the hoops and go through it still, but it is easier to identify on Threads because it needs to have an Instagram account. And if it's like you see the Threads usage rate of an account, and then you check the Instagram, and then you find out that it's a bot account, then you can just like scrap the account. So that really minimizes the amount of bots that are there in the platform, right? Then, of course, the other point that really I think kind of pulled people as well was, and I mentioned this at the top of the video, that no verification. So you don't have to pay $8 or $12 a month to be verified.
Yeah.
So that I think that really helped. And then the other one was some people have been addicted to content, right? They like watching posts and all these other different things. What Twitter has done, right, is that it caps the amount of posts you can see per day.
Okay.
So which is 6,000 posts at max. Anything above that number, you will not get.
But 6,000 is massive as well.
Yeah, it's massive.
Who's going to spend 6,000 people like post, like scrolling all day?
So recently they found out that there are some people in the world, and it's a lower minority, but they spend from 8 to 17 hours on Twitter. 8 to 17 hours.
Wow.
Right? So 6,000 posts at that length of time that you spend on Twitter.
How are they? What are they even doing in there?
Basically nothing. So that's what, like, either their livelihood is stuck to Twitter, or these are like young kids or people that have a lot of free time and they're just using Twitter. They're like a fanatic or something like that, right? So in Threads, there is no like
no post like
limit.
Okay.
You can see however much you want, and you can carry forward all these followers and accounts that comes with it.
So basically there's like seeming like seamless kind of
seamless transitions,
right? And everything.
And then and on the, if we think about it on the creator side, then you do not have to go through the process of earning all these followers again from base level, right? What you can do is basically, if you have like 1 million followers on Instagram, those million followers will translate to Threads, right? So that means that like they do not have to wait and then like slowly roll out all this process and all that and all. So that's there, right?
Okay.
And okay, what else is there? Certain level of censoring and like old version of thread. So basically, sorry, Twitter. So basically, not
Censors
a lot of
general stuff. Yeah.
So you cannot be hardcore racist or something like that. There is a level of wokeism that comes with threads. And light on politics and news.
Imagine, like just have a random thought. Imagine like saying that some sort of you have to have a level of racism. So there's like comparing with level. This racist you can be, not more than that.
There is a cap to the level of racism you can like handle on threads, right? And then cross-platforming from Instagram and threads, that I think is really.
I think that is one of the most convenient thing that threads has done.
Because it's easy to share, right? Like, and then if you want to share something on threads to some people, then you can just press the playing button on Instagram, and it will give you the option to share it on threads.
Because I think this is a very important thing. Because with Apple, right? So whenever there's a verification sent, and then it just comes to a message and it directly copies. It has helped my life so many times. These things.
Remember the old days. You'd be like saying those 6 numbers over and over again so that you remember it, and then you go and type it
and everything.
So,
but now it's
and eventually they are also trying to create cross-platform shares and like posts on all Meta platforms. Okay. So it could be Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, Threads, and all the other shebangs.
I mean, like basically, I think this Meta platform is just trying to create a different kind of thing, like where you have everything all together in one platform.
Yeah.
So for the future.
And like we said already, 500 characters for text, 5 minutes of videos. So something different than Twitter. Although Twitter also extended their amount of letters and characters that you can use to 280, I believe that's the number, right? So previously it was lower than that, and they increased it. But now Threads is going all the way up to 500. I don't know if you need 500, because I feel like Twitter, as you can see from Twitter, that like people are much more eloquent when they have lower number of cases, so they go straight to the point. Whereas I think you can kind of paint a picture in 500 characters, but this is still on the outset. Maybe we'll see that 500 is the better standard, and maybe Twitter jumps to that number as well. So we never know.
No, I mean, there's sometimes you need proper and better understanding and like explanation. So I think that would help as well. But I don't know how many 500 character would be.
Plus
500 words or 500 characters?
500 characters.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus, I think the 5-minute video also helps with what you're saying. Like, so some information cannot be boiled down in a 2 minutes video. So you need a little bit longer time, right?
But as they say, 30 seconds is the perfect time. If you want to explain you want to make someone interested, then 30 seconds is the perfect limit.
Okay, so that's fine. I mean, like, but they can of course post 30 seconds videos and all that. But in 5 minutes, I feel like there's two aspects to it. One is like you can get a somewhat of a old version of YouTube where 5 minutes videos were very common.
Yeah.
So you get that aspect of it. But also, if it's a 5-minute video and you're using Threads, you're using 5 minutes on Threads. So that's eye time on Threads.
Oh, okay.
Right. So the attention has been grabbed.
Now that I have a question, like how many minutes do you think YouTube allows
on
like posting in YouTube? How many minutes can you?
I've seen videos.
I've seen 12 hours.
Yeah, but I've like 12 hours of maybe music or something.
Yeah, soothing music and those kind of things. Yeah.
But I've seen videos of like 7-8 hours where they're just explaining a movie or a TV show and they're just breaking everything down. And it's like a proper video where you can see the person and then you can see images and all that and all. I wonder how long it takes to upload it. Of course, that's insane. But YouTube, I don't think has a... also, there is streaming option in YouTube, no?
Yeah.
So that means that I think the capacity they allow, I don't know what the upper limit is, but I think it should be a lot. Right? Like maybe there's no upper ceiling or something. Or there must be, right? Because imagine if you upload 100 hours video, and that's like a huge chunk of servers just supporting your video.
Yeah.
Which is, it doesn't seem profitable on YouTube's end.
Okay, it allows any channel to upload up to 15 minutes long. Oh, I think that's wrong.
That's the...
Okay, 12 hours long. 12 or 256 GB.
Oh, okay. 256 gigs for the people out there who want to upload 12 hours video or 256 gigs worth of...
Who want to upload whole their life in Twitter. YouTube.
But, okay, never mind. So just
We'll talk about YouTube in later
some other
videos,
episode. Yeah. So now let's go to the fall of Twitter, or why? Threads, or why is it struggling now in the market? So what are some of your thoughts? Why do you think it's struggling?
So okay, I have two important things in this one.
Okay.
First of all, as a consumer, that is my personal experience, opinion. Okay, you cannot, like, first of all, once you link it to Instagram account, you cannot delete just Threads if you want to.
Yeah.
So that puts me in risk of losing my Instagram account as well. Obviously, I've been using Instagram, for like long time, longer than the Threads. So yeah, that is one of the reason why I never downloaded Threads. Okay.
Okay.
And the another thing was privacy concerns. I think that is a main reason why people were not, like, obviously they at the start 130 million. So at the start they gave a chance, but then because of the privacy concerns and everything. So I think because you had to gather, like, Threads was gathering a lot of private information, including your ethnicity, sexual orientation.
We'll get into that. Give me a second about it, because that is insane. We'll get into that. I have a specific point for that.
Okay, so I'm just saying that is the reason why I moved away from Threads.
Yeah, tune into that one. All right,
fun.
So I'll give you a little bit of numbers then. Okay. So within the first 4 days, we said it reached 100 million users, right? And then at its peak, right, that is the 7th of July, which is just 2 days after its launch, right? Like 6th full day and then the 7th. The peak activity was 49.3 million active users, and they were spending up to 21 minutes on the platform.
Okay.
Right? Which is crazy numbers, right? But that number since has dropped, and I just checked it like a couple of days ago, this number, when we were doing the research for this. Now the active users on Threads is 10.3 million.
Okay.
Significant drop.
That's like,
right? That's 79% drop in users rate, with just 3 minutes of users time.
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Right?
Okay, that's a very concerning. Yeah, that's concerning now.
And if you look at the competitor of Threads, right, and what it's trying to achieve, Twitter, on the other hand, has daily active users of 200 million, right, with up to 31 minutes of usage time per day, which is 100 million hours per day. And I think I calculated, I don't know if the calculation was right or not,
30.
but I just quickly calculated it, and I think it's 115 years worth of usage time. So if you I don't know if the calculation is wrong, let us know in the comment, but right, I mean, but yeah, so if you divide 100 million hours by days first and then go into years, then I think it's around 115 years, right? Okay. So that's like the whole of humanity spending 115 years every day on Twitter,
I think humanity, this generation is going nowhere then.
Yeah. Which is like, these numbers are just insane, and then there are some of other reasons for struggles, right? Like, so the interface of Twitter and UI, right? The user interface of Twitter and Threads, quite similar. Similar, almost like a carbon copy. And what did Mark Zuckerberg say at the start when he was promoting Threads?
This is not Twitter.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, but he's copying from X now.
Technically, he's right. No, that's a good point. So it's technically not Twitter. So points to Mark. But and then the general app usage is not that fun, like there are limited features in it. Like, for example, there is a For You page on Twitter where you can, what do we say? Like the posts, some people might post something, and then like, depending on your usage of Twitter, it will gather the data, and then it will be like, okay, maybe you like this post or that post and all. But there's no For You page on Threads. There's a Explore page, and that is not the same, right? Like, it's kind of different. And then you cannot edit a post once you've posted it. So tons of room to make mistakes.
Tons of Oxford Dictionary people correcting your grammars and all. Spellings.
The grammar police. Yeah, all over the world. And then no direct messaging, no DMs on Threads.
Okay, but okay, that might be a good point as well. Sometimes like no creepy people contacting you and everything.
I mean, that's the other side of it, right? But then the other side of it could be that, okay, so if you want to, so I see a post that you made, and I don't want to comment on it, but I do want to send you a message saying that, Gaurav, that's such a funny post or something like that. I need to go to Instagram and then
text you.
Or like I just need to close the app and then go to a different app and then text you.
Or you might have to follow a request first.
Yeah.
It's a long process.
And you can only use Threads on a phone.
Oh, there's no desktop version or what?
There's no websites.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
so
concerning.
There
again.
are reasons for Threads to struggle, and we haven't even gotten to the meat and bone of the topic, the data sharing thing, right? And these are some of the data that Threads will collect from you, right? And this is specific to Threads. It's not Twitter, right? It's not some of the other non-meta platforms like Snapchat, or other social media platforms. But Threads specifically wants all these informations on their behalf, which is one is the financial information. What?
Yeah, I mean, why would you want that? Why would you want that? How many $1 billion I'm making in a year?
Let's go back to the first point that I made. Yeah. Oh, a text-based app, is it? And it wants your financial information. How does that correlate? Interesting, right? So, okay, fine, financial information, whatever. I don't care. Got tons of money. Take my financial information.
Where are you?
What? Now you want my health and lifestyle information as well?
Yeah, maybe, this Threads is just concerned about your health and how well you're doing. So it's gonna give you all the health posts and everything. Okay, eat healthy and all these things.
and if you've got erectile dysfunction, this is the best place to find a solution. Okay, so that's that. All right, fine. Take my health information. Take all my fitness information. Okay, what are some of the other things you might need from me, Threads? Please, I would like to comply because I'm so dying to use your app. Sensitive info. Sensitive info? What is sensitive info? Can you please tell me? Oh, so what's my race and ethnicity? That's fine. I am proud to be a brown guy. My sexual orientation. Not even my girlfriend knows about this, or my boyfriend, depending on how I choose it. How do you want to know about this, Threads? You know what I mean? And then there's pregnancy or childbirth. What?
I can, the way he's behaving, I think I can tell that he's never gonna download Threads.
Hell no. Disabilities. What's your religion? What? Why do you care?
Yeah, but why would a text app, who's just there to, basically we're just there to converse, right? Why would you want I don't for example, you and me, we're just conversing in Threads, right? I wouldn't care about your if you're disabled,
exactly.
if you're typing in a wheelchair or standing or why would I care about your political belief and all these things, financial situations,
Oh my days, this was so annoying. Not just that, genetic information. What?
Yeah, that is
Political
genetic
opinion,
is wild.
Trade union membership. What the hell are you talking about, bro? What are you gonna do with all this information?
I think, luckily,
what are you gonna do with all this information? We know this. What they're gonna do with the information? What is one of the biggest earning points for Meta as a company?
that is data sharing.
Data sharing, right? Third-party data sharing.
But luckily, they didn't ask your ATM pins and all things.
That's the financial information they're asking. So if you're going to make any transaction, so for example, if you have a card saved on your phone, they want to be able to access that card.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was just thinking your account details and the name of the bank
No,
and all
not
these
just
things.
that. So if the health app you have on your phone, they're going to take all that information. How long do you sleep? How long do you eat? Or when are you stressed? All this information. What are you? What?
That's very dodgy, I would say. Yeah.
So
I wasn't thinking through.
So one of the reasons why people like me, and of course, trust me, people, there are people out there that will be okay giving away all these information. but not me.
No, I mean, 70% of the population is not very comfortable sharing the data in like all the developed countries I'm talking about.
So that's why, because of this reason, and given previous checkered past of Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg of releasing not just, third-party data sharing is still the other companies paying for it, right? So there is a barrier to entry to that, right? But we've known that Facebook has been hacked multiple times, 200 million users' IDs just in the dark web, 400 million people the next time around in the dark web. What? And then because of all this checkered past and all the things that they want out of you, right, for using their app, which apparently seems like a favor now that they're doing on us.
And the funny thing is, like, many people are not aware of all the data sharing that these kind of app does. I mean, you just we just accept, you do accept all, and it would just accept, like, for me as well, like I just accept. Like, what do you want? What information do you want from me?
I think that's where the government needs to step up and be like, okay, this app is not good for you or something like that. So that's why I comment EU.
No, why would government be saying that this app is good for or not for you? But why, instead of that, the government should just imply all these rules and regulations to the company before
So that's why EU did not allow Threads to function in Europe.
Okay.
Because of the amount of like all this information that they want, all the data sharing they want from their customers. That's why they did not allow it, and which is, I was like, okay, so that's a relief to know that at least there are governments out there that will take care of the citizens that like live under their roof, So it was kind of like just looking at all of this, I was like, like, I don't know if this is a good app or not. And then given Mark Zuckerberg's like checkered past, I don't know, And then there are also other things, like there's no chronological
orders and everything.
Order of seeing things and all. And then the point we already touched on, political and news. I think it is a important part, especially in today's culture, that like you need to have an open dialogue, which I think is good thing that Twitter is doing, right? Like, because at least
healthy debate, it can be done.
Yeah. So they're not even providing that platform, and then so it's just I feel like these are some of the reasons why Threads as a whole is struggling.
I think for the start, just people just gave it an opportunity, and then later on they realized, okay, these are the things. The more they found out, the more this like once this crazy number was reached, obviously then the analysts and experts and everything, they started giving information about these things, and then probably people stopped using it.
Yeah. So we've seen, right? Like, so 10.3 million and 3 minutes at the most. So that is like, you take a longer shit during the day if you combine the 2 or 3 times that you go to the toilet, right? Then you use the app.
Unless you're not constipated.
So, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's that then. So, that's pretty much all we have on Threads and all that and all. But now we're going to a little bit of a general discussion. And I wanted to pose this question because it's not directly related to Threads. And we might also touch on what Threads can do better going forward. But the main question I wanted to ask, and this was before even we started shooting, we had like 20-25 minutes of conversations, me and Gaurav, as to if Mark Zuckerberg is a good CEO or not. Right? So what do you think? What are some of your thoughts on this?
Okay. Mark Zuckerberg, I think he is a good CEO.
Yeah.
Because, okay, it also depends on in your dictionary, what is a good CEO? What do you care? Obviously there have been many failures of his. Like, for example, Meta didn't perform as it was supposed to be, as they thought. Even this
losing $13.72 billion on 2022, right? Not Meta, sorry, Metaverse.
Yeah, Metaverse.
Yeah, the concept of.
And then this Threads as well. It was. Obviously when it was released. Probably the investors and Mark Zuckerberg. I think they went crazy seeing the numbers. Oh my God, what happened? What did we just do? And probably because its direct competitor is X, so probably Elon Musk
was sweating. Yeah.
Was using the toilet he bought to Twitter. I think probably.
And Elon Musk even threatened to sue Threads, right? because he was like, they're using similar algorithm, they're using similar IPs. So you saw that Elon was really sweating.
Yeah.
You know, like he was scared that threats could be a threat.
Okay, another thing I wanted to mention was, when on July 23rd, Elon tweeted this thing, okay, it was like very fun. So he said, whatever sin this platform as in Twitter, may have, being boring is not one of them. So basically he's saying that X is very boring, obviously. And I mean, now
Not
we can
X,
tell.
Not X.
It's very confusing.
Yeah.
So okay, coming back to Mark Zuckerberg as a good or bad CEO, I think he obviously, when you are in business world or this field, I think there will be like a lot of things that you do, and not everything is like 100%. Not everything goes according to your plan. Obviously, metaverse and this thing, Threads, was didn't perform how it was supposed to, but we can't deny the fact that he is a very he is a visionary person, and being a good CEO also, I mean, to be considered a good CEO, you have to be visionary as well. Which is right. I mean, Facebook, that is when all this social media thing started, I think, with Facebook, to be honest, right? I mean, 1.6 billion users.
Okay, so I'll say that a better version of social media platform where people could share their opinion, share their videos and all was perfected. At least in the initial phase by Facebook, because there were like companies like MySpace and i5s and all that.
I mean, I'm just saying in terms of for example, in terms of if you could say smartphone, the first Apple changed everything, right? So in similar way for social media, connecting with people.
About the time when the apple fell on Newton's head?
No, I'm not talking about that.
So
time.
not that first apple.
The second apple. What do you call it?
All right. Okay.
Plastic
apple. So you asked at the start of this question, that what do you define as a good CEO? So my barometer for a good CEO would be, one, he generates revenue, right? Like he's able to at least increase profit on a year-to-year end, right? To a certain degree, right? And also does something that provides a service that is good for the people that use it. Right, so these are my two barometers, right? And then, if you really want to go into the nitty gritty, then we can talk about characters. But do we really know these people, given from what we read just on the pages and all that, websites and all? So can we really judge them on the character? That is a different question. But on the very first basis, I would say revenue and the service they are providing, right? So let's look at some of the let's talk about some of the losses that he did, right? 13.72. In 2022, right? Billion. This is billion we're talking about, 13.72 billion. And we were hyped when Barbie made 1.2 billion or 1.3, right? And we're talking about how massive this number is and how crazy. And we're talking 13 times that. That was the loss. First, 2022. Okay. 2022, just recovering from COVID, all this and all that and all. Okay, fine. Let's look at 2021. 10 billion loss. Oh,
but so what is this loss you're talking about?
Loss as Meta as a whole company was losing money.
Okay.
So of course it's making money, but the amount of money lost on some of the projects, right? Individual projects, were 10 billion in 2021 and 2022 13.7 billion.
But that's the thing. I mean, if you're involved in a few different projects, you don't want. I mean, sometimes not every project makes huge amount of profit, but altogether, if you're making altogether, he's doing one okay, it's not a huge amount, but it's just 3 to 4 billion last year. So it was 1% increase over the year.
Then my question is, was Elon Musk Threads at the right pace at the right time in the mid 2000s? Right, because early on, Elon Musk was Zuckerberg was really killing it, but then now we see Zuckerberg really struggling, just like Threads.
But so now, you're saying back in 2000, right? Okay, obviously he was killing it. Zuckerberg. He was not even legal drinking age, and he generated 12.7 million in first funding of Facebook. Okay. He was 16.
So please brush me up on the story of Facebook then. Was he the one who created Facebook alone?
No, he wasn't. Obviously, he wasn't.
Okay. So there were other people.
Yeah, they were obviously.
What happened to these people, Gaurav?
I don't know. They're nowhere in the picture in my.
Okay. So basically, he kind of kicked them out,
and then he took the whole company on his own, fighting a legal battle that he won, and he was.
So he won a legal battle, right?
Well, that's fine. That's fine. No, I'm going to come to the point, right? So that was his first genius idea that really still makes him one of the biggest billionaires in the world, right? Facebook. And then what was his next creative idea as a CEO?
What did he do? After Facebook, probably he bought WhatsApp, I would say.
Oh, so he didn't make WhatsApp?
No. But a good CEO knows what to buy.
Wait. So he purchased it, right?
Yeah, he purchased it.
What's the revenue income of WhatsApp? Meta doesn't share it?
No.
Oh, is it on a loss?
No, Meta just wants the customers to share it, but not they don't want to share
information,
anything.
of course. It's the information. Okay, what was the next big thing that
Instagram.
I love Instagram. Do you?
Yeah.
Do you use it regularly?
Often, regularly, yeah.
Yeah. So did Zuckerberg come up with the idea of Instagram?
I don't think so.
Oh, so he purchased the company that made Instagram. Makes sense.
But
Zuckerberg, of course, great CEO.
So, yes,
WhatsApp and then Instagram. Completely agree, Dan. Completely. So what's the next big thing that he did, Gaurav?
I don't know.
Oculus was the next big thing?
I mean the VR thing, right?
Meta was in the artwork. So did he purchase Oculus after Meta was in the
I think it was
pipeline?
before.
Oh, before. And
wasn't it?
No, that's fine. That's correct. And so Metaverse, so the Oculus thing, did Mark Zuckerberg come up with the idea of 3D video, like AI user interface?
AI and 3D has been there for ages, I think.
Okay. So
a few years, at least few years.
For if people want to know about Metaverse and all this other thing, please
Again,
track back to some of the older videos. We have done an extensive video on Metaverse. But so Oculus was also so that's not even Zuckerberg's idea as well. But he's still a good CEO. Let's keep going.
So
what was the next big thing?
CEO doesn't have to be an innovator.
No.
He can just, CEO is like chief executive officer. Whatever he does, he should be able to execute it properly.
Okay.
Right?
So the next big thing that he invested money on was Metaverse.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yes, that has been lost and everything.
10 billion in 2021 and 2022 13.72. That adds up.
But also because
$23 billion in 2 years.
Yeah, I think I can understand why that happened because just before that 2021 and everything was like stocks and all these things, extra things that was booming, right? Now because of, let's say, COVID and war and everything is like all the stock market and everything is crashing. So at the time it came up with Metaverse. And then I think give it a few years, it will be very good.
No, but you know what is very interesting about the point you just made about COVID and all this and all that? What does Jeff Bezos own?
Amazon.
Is it an online internet platform or something?
Yeah.
Okay. And what does Elon Musk do? Like software based, right? So Twitter. And even Tesla is completely software-based online.
But the thing is, like, Metaverse was completely different thing to what people are usually, comfortable with. It was a different idea, different, thing that not everyone would understand or were understanding. So that is a, difficult field.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So all the other
it's just like
all the other
just like the phase.
billionaires were making billions.
So this with Metaverse, I would
COVID.
say. So let me say. So I think Zuckerberg is at a point of time in his life where Elon Musk was there in the 2000s when he was coming up with his SpaceX and Tesla and everything. He was coming up, with all these plans and everything. He was doing it, but it was failing, right? So at the time, if we say just choose see within that time frame, then obviously he's making loss back how Musk was making it a loss. Okay, but when you zoom out, let's say give it a few years, and then now that we zoom out of Musk, all this success, so we can see that okay, it failed, but now the same projects are doing great, right?
So in the 1980s, mid 1980s, there was a company that came out with the idea of a smartphone where you can touch screen, scroll, all these other things, right?
Yeah.
And I forget the Dream Team or Dream something, Dream Maker, something like that. That was the name of the company. They came out then, right? And this is mid 1980s, and that company failed, right? The same concept, early 2000s, Steve Jobs is able to do it, right?
Okay.
And then what happens? Does anyone remember the Dream Makers or the Dream Team or something like that from the 1980s?
No. I mean, I wasn't aware of that.
And these people, genius at their times, already thought of this idea.
Yeah, but thinking is another thing, and executing and doing it is another thing.
No. They made a phone.
So same thing. Okay,
Wait. They made a phone.
Yeah.
But it wasn't feasible, right? Because it was too ahead of its time, right? So then when it was time, 20 years later, the same concept hit it out of the park, right? So does Mark Zuckerberg needs to realize that metaverse is too far-fetched in the future?
Okay, but okay. In the same example, Nokia.
Okay.
Nokia was doing, like such a great time at the start.
Yeah.
But later on, because of it wasn't able, obviously it had that technology, but I think I read an article somewhere that at the time, even though they were like, that the smartphones or something would be there in the future, they were like, okay, they were too stubborn to change the way they were doing business. So that is why now Nokia, I mean, it's like Apple came, or smartphones are doing so much greater that Nokia is nowhere in the sight now.
No, but that's fine.
So it's the same thing with, okay, if metaverse or this like whole ecosystem of metaverse and meta and everything, if they don't do anything for the future now, they might be Nokia, right, in the future. So you have to
Kodak.
you have to like see through the future, and yes, sometimes like things doesn't go according to plan. Sometimes we pre-plan it.
Is the company ready to
lose
billions and billions and billions?
See, it has earned billions of money, right?
No, but it's not from the same company, is it? Like, so for example, if you have two companies, right, and it's under the same company's umbrella, if one company is earning you $800 million and the other is in the loss of like $200 million, right, it's impacting that 800 million as well, because you're losing 200 on that, right? And this company is struggling on its own. So do I just look at you for the all over, like how you are, or is it also important that like if you put an effort into something and it's not making money, then maybe that's not the best way.
If we say that, if I, for example, I build something or I make something, and then let's say that if I don't just get quick profit of it, then you are saying that we should not, like, then why try, right?
Okay, wait. So quick profit is one thing. Fine, I understand visionaries and all that, but there is a way to do it, isn't there? So like there has to be a step-by-step.
Yeah, there has to be a step-by-step, obviously.
One, right? The other thing is the market needs to be ready for it. Right?
But sometimes...
So Meta jumped in fully at the deep end with the metaverse idea, right? Losing billions of dollars, right? Not just that, the market isn't ready for it. There isn't enough technology in the world to recreate what Meta is trying to recreate in your background, like in your home ground, in your home.
Okay.
So that means that until the market is ready and the technology reaches there, that means Meta will have to lose billions and billions every year until technology reaches there. Does that make sense?
So, okay. Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Yeah. So how long is the wait then? And
so I mean, I don't know how long that's going to take, right? I mean,
give me
maybe 5 years.
5.
I would consider.
So let's just take the base loss at 10 billion.
Okay.
Right? No inflation, no nothing.
50 billion.
So 50 of the 5, and then 2 is like, let's take 10 more. So $70 billion loss that Meta will have to incur, and you and we are in the shareholder meeting, and we see Mark Zuckerberg, and then he's like, guys, I have good news and bad news. The good news is metaverse will be successful. Everyone's going to be using metaverse. But the bad news, and this is nothing, it's peanuts, because we are going to be successful eventually. Vision, guys, vision. Connect with me.
Connecting people.
70 billion loss in the next 7 years. Are you guys excited? What are you going to say? Hell no.
But hey, those were the stakeholders. I mean, I've seen, like, you have probably heard it so many times, like, like all of a sudden the shareholder was not earning nothing, and all of a sudden the next day they are billionaires and everything. Like they trusted in the project for a few years. So you had to trust.
So
when you are doing a business, you're not only investing in that particular project, but you're also investing in the person who's looking after. Okay. For here, Mark Zuckerberg.
So it feels like you have balls of steel, right? So you will be like, okay, I have this much money. I'll put it on Zuck. I'm going to trust him.
Yeah, risk-taking is one of the aspects as well.
But then what about the other people? Because not everyone's going to be Gaurav Khanal in the shareholders' room. No one's going to wait for 5 years, losing 70 billion. That too, we are taking the conservative number. That means there will be people that will turn away from Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear a fun stat?
Okay. Show me. Tell me.
70% of employees that work in Meta apparently don't think Mark Zuckerberg is a good CEO.
Who here likes their own bosses?
Okay, that's fine. 70%? There's no redeeming quality in your boss if your company is doing good? So you are saying that if any company is doing good, then the boss needs to be an asshole or is an asshole.
No.
We can just assume that.
No.
So if we can't assume that, that means there are still bosses who will have employees, at least that will hit the mark of not 70%. There could be like 30% of employees hate their bosses. Fine, that's a reasonable
Yeah,
number.
70% is,
70%,
I understand that, yeah.
So, you see what I mean? Just as a CEO, I'm not going personally after Mark, right? Though he has a track record of trying to prioritize revenue, trying to so basically for a lot of people, I don't know if they know, Mark Zuckerberg is a loner in a way, right? He likes his own space, he does his own thing and all that and all. And it is very well known in the Silicon Valley that he doesn't take advices from anyone.
Okay, that is a bad...
So that shows that there is some level of arrogance to him, right? I've got the money, I see the ideas, I'm just going to either buy them or make something that's competitive to them, and then we'll see where it goes.
Okay. Yeah, but to get to the point where you are saying that with Meta and everything, the technology hasn't reached that far that we should be trying all these things. But also like with some people or like some company or something, some ideas, you have to make, the technology to go. Like for example, you're saying that Meta is like too few years ahead of its technical time, right? But now, once you have that platform, now there will be technologies built around for that so that technology can be worked, so that let's say I mean Facebook, when it wasn't there, obviously Mark Zuckerberg had something in his mind, or he had the talent or something like that he could tell, okay, now I'll create a platform where billions of people can connect. Obviously before, I mean, you remember, like we used to to talk once in a month, to connect with families and everything. Now we have 24/7, right? So we can talk with anything and with no cost and everything. So obviously he has that visionary thinking, right? So now again, with this Meta technology, obviously he might have thought, okay, this technology will be in the future. So he made that platform. Now, like engineers and all those tech companies or Silicon Valley companies, that they are in the business and they want to sustain for the future, because that is the future, right? So they will be building technologies around that.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll give you a different example, right? So Jeff Bezos is in the rocket building industry.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is in the rocket building industry. The Virgin guy, Richard Branson, is in the rocket making industry. And there are a few other private companies as well.
Yeah.
Right? So Elon Musk can spend billions of dollars in it. He does. And the quality and the product we can see in front of our eyes, right? It can not just take off, it can re-land, right? Okay, fine. Jeff Bezos, on the other hand, was like, I don't think I want to invest that much money onto it. What I'll do, let me first make a prototype, made. Let me get a contract from NASA, done. Finally, okay, let's just make one rocket that can go into space, done. Okay, now what's the next project for the future? Okay, we'll make a different rocket that can maybe reach the moon. Okay, so step by step growth, right? Richard Branson, he has already registered a company, Virgin something, that is gonna create a kind of a resort on space, in either space, the space that's up outside of the Earth's atmosphere, or all the way up in the moon, right? If he gets all the paperwork right. Has he started he's registered the company? Has he started anything yet? No, because the technology isn't there. He is visionary enough to know that people will eventually want to go out there, but he's smart enough to know as well that the market is not ready. The technology isn't there.
Yeah.
Right? So even though he's a visionary, he is kind of taking a step back. And there are two aspects to it, right? Maybe someone else might get there before him, right? And maybe not, right? But just because you're a first player doesn't mean you're the smartest or something like that, right? So what Zuckerberg did, it's insane levels. People were buying real estate in metaverse at the start, What are you gonna do with that, man?
I don't know. That's crazy, man. All these like.
So you see what I mean?
But also, okay, now I have another point to tell. You know, at the start you just said that Zuckerberg, what has he like made? Like he's just buying Instagram, he bought WhatsApp, he bought. But don't you think that buying or getting purchasing something is a different story. But what if like the thing you do after purchasing has to be looked as well? Similar. Okay, if you say SpaceX. It's a rocket. You can just say, okay, what is Elon Musk doing it? He just, NASA has made the rockets as well. It just goes up. But, okay, he had that idea that, okay, my rockets is similar to NASA's technology, but the twist is that it will land safely, it will come back, and then from there you will drastically, you will make changes. So that's the same thing with Mark Zuckerberg. He acquired something. Now he's just gonna work above and beyond and then make something different. So same with Tesla. Are you going to say, okay, there were already like vehicles? It's not a new thing to Elon Musk, no, right? Obviously, he went to this, car making field, and then now there's something different he's trying to do. At the time, probably like when this EV was coming up.
So you have to understand that Instagram is a disruptor on its own. There's no other app. There was no other app like Instagram when Instagram came into the market. Snapchat, by the way, Zuckerberg tried to buy Snapchat as well. They did not entertain him. He offered 2 billion, something like that, right? Snapchat was a disruptor on its own, right? So there are other disruptors. WhatsApp was a disruptor on its own, right? The messaging service. It was carried forward from the BlueBerry messaging app, BBM, but similar, but yeah, so disruptor on its own. All of this purchased by Mark, right? That's one. The other thing, and the final point that I want to make is that if you are saying that we need to, I'm not saying that Zuckerberg needs to have all original ideas. Yeah. That's fine. But what I'm trying to say is that what does he do with the idea? That was the point that you were trying to make, right?
Yeah.
The metaverse idea seems to be failing. What does he do with that idea, right? Does he keep the company bleeding or not? That's one. WhatsApp. We tried to find the revenue of WhatsApp for a long time.
Yeah.
We couldn't find anything. The best estimate that we could get was like around 700 million, and that too we do not believe because it is from WhatsApp Pay. I don't think a lot of people use WhatsApp Pay, but the company that is using WhatsApp Pay will have to pay 3.3% of it, right? So there's no revenue coming from WhatsApp's end as well. So you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there are drawbacks to Mark Zuckerberg as a CEO. He might be visionary, but a CEO's thing balances on how much money he can increase to the company as well. Meta has not had even a 1% increment in profit for years now. Even now, it's on 0.93%. So, according to me, I feel like he might be a good visionary, but an arrogant CEO. What's your final point?
I mean, my final point would be like, I don't know if he's a good CEO or not, but I think he has that potential. And then probably all these projects he's involved in, maybe just, I think he will definitely, come up with a solution and probably, do something with it.
Okay.
Like, I think he's working for the future, I would say.
Yep.
In terms of like this, social networking and everything.
And please do check some of Mark Zuckerberg's checkered history as well as how he treated people, because we've seen this in the start as well, how he treated his partner in the start and then completely kicked them off from Facebook. We've seen how arrogantly he just purchases things or does things and doesn't seem to care, and then like the hackings and the leaks of data and all this thing that has been tracked back to him, all the political agendas and biases shared during the Kenyan election, the American election, the rise of Hindu versus Muslim in India, all of these are tracked back to Meta. Okay. So what does it say about the CEO who's the head of the company? I don't know. I don't want to infer anything. But if 70% of people are against him and some of his track record is shady, I feel like on my end, just right place, right time, lucky dude. That's what I'd say.
I think, he got lucky. And right. I don't know. I mean, with brains comes luck, so I don't know.
Sometimes, luck is favorable as well. Yeah. But
at least something has to be favorable.
Yeah.
Either your financial situation or your luck or your good idea. And I think luck and good idea favored him. So that's it, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it on Threads. Do you want to add anything else?
No, nothing.
Yeah. So that's pretty much that, and then we'll come back with a new fun topic for the next one. Maybe Ashwal might join us in the next one as well. Maybe we could do a fun,
activity
game or something like that, right? Like competition between the people and all that. And if we do end up doing that, Gaurav is going to wear the glasses that we promised in the previous competitive game that we had. And that's going to be back, Gaurav.
No! I hope the glasses will not be found.
All right, okay. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, by the way, I need to give a shout out a little bit. Our last video was #1 for the channel. We got around 50 views within a week, which is insane. We've never seen
4 days.
Heights. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and hope you guys keep showing us the love and appreciation. We'll come back with the next one next week and see you guys soon.
See ya.
Peace.